friends. In the studio with me today, I have Kevin Toole. He is a parishioner at St. Bernard's. Is it Bernard's?
Mm-hmm.
Bernard's Parish in Redfield, way up north. He traveled down to Sioux Falls today to come be with us. Kevin was ratted out, I guess, by his pastor, Father John Short, up north there. He recently, Kevin had a conversion over the past however much time he's going to tell us, and came into the church this past Easter. And Father Short told us it's a really good story. He was very impressed by you, Kevin, and really thought we should have you on to tell your story. These other Catholics might really enjoy it. So welcome. Glad you came down.
Thank you.
So let's start, if you wouldn't mind. We'll start with you just telling us a little bit about yourself in general.
Well, my name, as you said, is Kevin Michael Toole. I'm 30 years old. I grew up in Oregon.
Oh,
That's
okay.
where I'm from.
Wow.
I grew up in Oregon. My extended family's all from New Jersey. And I'm a carpenter for work. That's what I do. Mm-hmm. I've always been a carpenter, and I did a little welding. I'm in the National Guard. I'm just your average Joe, you know, No college degree, not married, no kids, nothing like that. So
How'd you end up in South Dakota?
I moved away from Oregon.
I can understand
And I
that.
moved away from Oregon, and there was a time where I was thinking, where am I going to go? And I had been going to Catholic Mass at this time for a little while. It's like a catechumen. Mm-hmm. And there were some places we were looking at, and I just thought, well, where's the best place for Catholics? Mm-hmm. And South Dakota, actually, if you Google it, it's pretty high up there. Yeah.
I didn't even know you could Google that. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Well, my mom did it. I didn't know that. My mom did that, and I didn't fact check her, if you will. I just said, well, if mom said so, she's probably right. And that was it. Mm-hmm. That's how I ended up in South Dakota.
That's a great... I'm so shocked you can Google that and actually find a list of that. Okay, so you hinted there a little bit about that you were going to Mass then. But can you tell us first, what was your faith life like growing up before you started thinking about becoming Catholic? What was going on before that?
So, my parents got divorced, when I was about 7, but I was actually baptized at St. Michael's Catholic Church.
Oh.
Yes. I was baptized in Sandy, Oregon, and then pretty much immediately after, we stopped going to Mass.
Okay.
And my parents got a divorce, and our faith as an organized structural thing, attending Mass, receiving the graces, just went away. Mm-hmm. But I was always really close to the Lord when I was a little boy.
Sure.
And then once I hit middle school, forget about it. I got sucked into the world and was curious about all other forms of religion and pretty much everything but what my family was doing.
Sure.
My extended family, my grandparents and beyond. And around 2017, I started reading a Bible, a Protestant Bible. One of the neighbors of mine, I lived in this little trailer park, when I was in Oregon, out on my own. And he gave me this Bible, and I was reading it, But before the Catholic Church, it was just very much a dead faith. I would read the Bible. I found the Our Father in St. Matthew, the Gospel according to St. Matthew. I'd pray that every night before bed. But my life hadn't really changed much.
Right.
Nothing changed.
No one would have known you were...
No one would have known.
Yeah.
And, so I was reading God's Word, but I wasn't getting the sacraments.
Right.
And I wasn't living a Catholic life. I wasn't living a Christian life. I was just doing whatever I wanted still.
Yeah. So what was the impetus for you discovering the Catholic Church or wanting to look into it more?
So, I was back from boot camp. I went through in about 2019 or 2020 this crazy period of mania and advancement in my life. I was working all these hours. I was working out at the gym. I thought, I'm going to join the Guard, and I'm going to go to church and basic, and I'm going to reinvent my life. I'm going to reinvent the wheel. I'm going to start living the Christian life. And I was going to a Protestant church, and I was going after I got back from basic, for a few months, but I just got tired of we only do this on Sunday. We're just listening to, there's no liturgy. There's no liturgical calendar. There's doctrinal chaos. And I'm already reading the Bible and praying all day long, so I just wanted more. There was something missing. My grandma sent from New Jersey a rosary. And this is around Advent time. This is in the Advent season. Not the one we just had, but the one before.
Sure. Yep.
And I'm not sure what I'm not satisfied at the Protestant church, but there's all these boogeyman stories about Catholic. You just, anywhere but there.
Yep.
And I didn't know anything. And I looked up online, how do you pray a rosary? Okay, let's try it. And then it was just boom. I don't know how to explain it, but I was just had this real openness to the Catholic Church. I just thought, okay, this could be good. And I was praying the rosary, and I bought a crucifix and a little picture of Our Lady of the Rosary.
Yeah.
Because I was praying the rosary, and I was just trying to remember the Hail Mary, the Glory Be, the Our Father, how it all works. And a little voice in my head said, make a prayer corner, get a crucifix, look at it. Okay. And I debated for a while, where was I going to build this? Was it going to be in its own little room? And I just settled on, okay, a corner of the living room, because that's where I'm at. And it was just the grace of saying that rosary opened up my heart, if you will, to go to Mass. So then I found the local Catholic church, St. Patrick's, and I started just going there. Well, actually, okay, first I found the priest, because I didn't know anything.
Right.
And I said, I've got to go talk to the priest and figure out how this works.
At this point, I have a question for you.
Yes,
real quick.
Renee.
Did you know you were baptized at this point?
Yes.
Okay, so you knew that. That was not
Okay.
a mystery to you. Okay,
Yeah, and
good.
then, when I was in basic, I got double baptized. I got baptized again, because it was just something to do.
Right.
And I don't want to hide that. I feel so bad about that. I want to tell you that. I got second baptized. I didn't know what I was doing.
Okay, so you had to find a priest. I'm sorry I interrupted you
Yeah,
there.
I had to find the priest because I was curious. Father Victor, I just kind of bombarded him at his confession time and said, hey, this is the deal. And he gave me the rundown, and I started just going to Mass. Obviously waiting to get on the liturgical merry-go-round of, joining the church in Easter time. And that was how I started going, right during Advent, right during Christmas. In fact, Christmas Day, Christmas Mass was the time. It was the first day I went. I just dropped everything. I said, I got to go. Tomorrow's Christmas? Okay, then. I'm going.
What better time than then?
What better time than then?
Yeah.
Yeah, and as I learned, Advent is a great time to
Yep.
receive the grace of coming into the church in your initial little baby steps.
Yes, totally. Yeah.
And so that was just awesome.
And then you kept going after Christmas. And so then did you start your RCIA? I assume you went through an RCIA course or something like that. Did you start that out in Oregon?
I went through private instruction with Father John. I had to wait because it was just Christmas, and then Easter was right around the corner. So I was talking to everybody there at the St. Patrick's Parish, and they said, okay, we'll wait. So I was just hanging around and just really enjoying just going to Mass. It was so beautiful. Man, it was everything all of a sudden. Everything was there. All the little missing parts and pieces when I was going Protestant, where I just thought, I feel like we're missing something.
Yeah.
I feel like we're missing something. We're missing that sacrament, the Eucharist. And it was just amazing to be exposed to the Eucharist in the Mass and watching the words of consecration, the liturgy of the Eucharist, the liturgy of the Word. It was all there. It was just so beautiful to behold. I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I just show up and, do what everybody who's a baby does and just follow along, kneel when everybody kneels. Oh, it was just heavenly. It was so beautiful.
It's so wonderful to hear someone describe it like that, because so often, well, you are technically a cradle Catholic, but so often we kind of forget about the beauty of the Mass and how precious it is. And to hear you talk about it that way is really, I think it helps a lot of Catholics just kind of wake up a little bit and say, oh, gosh, I have to pay more attention. So you moved here, and then Father John helped you go through with private instruction. How long did that take?
I moved here in August of last year, and we kind of started that next week on Thursdays.
wow.
We just meet, and because I just said, hey, Father, I got to talk to you. When can I get a minute of your time?
Yeah.
And he didn't know what to expect, and we just kept going on that Thursday. We met once a week, And, it was really good. I was really blessed, too, because RCIA is great.
Mm-hmm.
But here's this amazing blessing of just getting to sit one-on-one with a priest.
Yep.
How rare is that?
Yep.
Because priests are spread so thin, but it all just worked out.
Yeah.
And obviously, massive grace was on me, guiding me back home.
Mm-hmm.
And I credit the Virgin Mary with that, the Blessed Mother. The Rosary was huge, and our Blessed Mother was just such a big part of all of this, everything.
Yeah.
As soon as my grandma sent me the Rosary, it was just on.
Yeah. Does your grandma have a devotion to Mary?
I'm not sure, because I haven't seen my grandma Elfa very much.
Sure.
I know that she's a very devout lady.
Yeah.
Her and my grandfather, who just recently passed away.
Sure. Oh.
And she was a cantor,
Mm-hmm.
I heard. She always went to Mass. But I'm not sure.
You'll have to ask her that.
I will.
'Cause I bet she is.
Okay. My dad did tell me one time when he came back, every morning she's up praying that rosary.
Mm-hmm.
So she's got to be.
She must, yeah.
She's got to be. But I do. I try to pray the rosary almost every day. I don't. Now that as time goes on, I always miss a day here and there.
Sure.
But the graces from the rosary are just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. They really are.
So anyway, back to what you were talking about, Father John. Yeah, I was lucky, and he really, really lined me out. We could talk about anything. I mean, any question you had. I was so disposed to receive the graces come Easter Vigil. And I had already been going as a catechumen for a long time because of the time and the move, too.
Sure.
I didn't want to get those guys involved because I just knew in my heart I'm going somewhere.
Right.
I don't know where. But I'm not going to be here, so I just want to go to Mass and just not break anybody's heart,
Right, right.
So, Father John really helped me with that. We talked about everything from Abraham all the way up to, the saints of the modern time and how the Mass works, and we would watch videos and talk about everything that goes on in the Mass. So it was a beautiful mystery. The truth of the Mass is beautiful, and we were able to dive deeply into all that it is, all the little prayers, all the little words, and everything we do.
Mm-hmm. You were very fortunate to have a priest be able to do that for you. That's a real blessing.
Yeah.
You were right. It was Father John's been a real blessing to you.
Yeah.
If you just joined us, we're talking to Kevin Toole about his journey really back into the Catholic Church, because he was a Catholic from the time he was very, very small. Okay, so Kevin, what was Easter Vigil like for you? And were you confirmed up in Redfield?
Yeah,
okay.
I was confirmed there, and I received First Holy Communion there. Easter Vigil, so I woke up, and after all this time, it just started that morning, Saturday morning, where I was thinking, okay, I've got to say my prayers, I've got to just get through my work day, because I work Saturdays as a carpenter, and just get to the Easter Vigil. My father came. My father hasn't been into church since, I don't know, the divorce, the 90s, 2000, the year 2000, I don't know. He's got a suit on, I've got my suit on. It's crazy. And it was just beautiful. It was, how the Easter Vigil is, dark, the candles, everybody comes in, and, they called me up. Father John delivered this amazing homily. I'll remember that homily for the rest of my life. It was the homily for me. And, brought me up, anointed my little head with the oil. He's crying, the altar servers are crying. I'd probably be crying, but I'm just not a crying guy yet.
Yep.
I'm sure it'll probably get there, but I'm just thinking, oh, wow, finally. And it was really, really beautiful. Like I said, Father John got me disposed to receive the graces fully of what was going to happen. Everything was just in that point to receive those graces. And, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
People were really thrilled, and everybody was really, really just feeling good.
Yeah.
Can't explain it more than that.
Was the first confession hard for you?
Yeah. I mean, the first confession, I was 30 at this time, and I was a prodigal. I was living La Vida Oregon. I was a modern progressive. I was into everything. I was really, like Bishop DeGroote said in one of his videos, the Lord will let us follow paths to see the dead ends. And I had followed a lot of those paths. So I just didn't even know where to start. And honestly, I'm still going back when I do weekly confessions saying, oh, and this too. So I just knew that, I was going to receive the grace as long as in my heart I prayed and said everything I honestly could remember.
Yeah.
And that God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit will always be guiding me on this constant journey of penitence.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. What's been your favorite part of kind of coming back to the church?
Oh, all the organization, the liturgical year, the magisterium, having an answer for everything.
Yeah.
You know,
especially when you spent time without those answers and really desiring them, to have them then.
Yeah.
It's got to be big.
Yeah, to know that you can always rely on the Holy Spirit's guidance of the church and all of that information and that deposit of faith. You don't have to be on it by yourself.
Yeah. What's been the greatest blessing so far?
I think the greatest blessing was moving to South Dakota.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was just a big, crazy life change that probably wouldn't have happened. I mean, obviously the biggest blessing is I'm always looking for the Lord and to grow in holiness, and I just got put on the right course.
Yeah.
That's the biggest blessing. But there have been a ton of little blessings.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, South Dakota, I'm not sure where you were in Oregon, but I mean, it's a very rural, especially where you are, very rural lifestyle, and probably maybe a little slower than where you were before, which is a huge blessing for most people. So was it a bigger city you were in Oregon, or a more rural area?
Oh, it was bigger than where I am now.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 7,000 people in Oregon, and I'm in a town of 200 people here.
Right. Which is lovely, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Have there been any challenges?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
You know, you experience all these growing pains when you're trying to grow in holiness to the Lord, and you're always having to let go of stuff. You're always having to, you know, say grace at the restaurant, or say, I don't want to do this today. Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. You know, there's a responsibility to the Eucharist, to being in a good disposition to receive the Eucharist every Sunday. And it's a blessing, but it's going to change your life.
Yes. Yes. It should.
Yeah.
Yes. If it hasn't, you probably are missing something still. Maybe.
Yeah.
So I love that you said that. How has this journey back into the church impacted your family relationships, your friendships, that kind of thing?
So my friendships are kind of all gone except for what's in the guard, because A, I'm 30, and B, I just moved. So that's an easy, not much. But
Sure.
my family, it's changed a lot.
Okay.
You know, my one brother, he's kind of wanting to know about religion, and they're all kind of asking me, looking to me. It's a strange thing. You know, after the divorce and all of this, I was excited to go back, but my family's asking me a lot of questions too.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, they might come back too. They kind of need to.
Well, of course. Of course.
You know,
it's nice when they can have someone in their family that they can turn to and say, well, what about this? And so you get to be that person now.
yeah, they're really, really supportive.
Yeah.
They're insanely supportive, but they aren't going yet.
Right. Give
But
them a little time.
Yeah.
And you'll have to pray for them a lot,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
which I'm sure you are already.
Yeah, that's what my grandma was doing for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Send them all rosaries, huh?
Yeah.
Say, Grandma, would you send them some rosaries too?
Yep.
Okay. Is there, now, maybe unless Mary's the only one, is there a saint that you turn to a lot?
St. Joseph.
Ah, okay.
St. Joseph. And I read Father Alban Butler's book,
Yeah.
The Lives of the Saints, every day. I love the lives of the saints. But St. Joseph, every day before I go to work, because I'm a carpenter, and there's
Yeah.
always something that I don't know how I'm going to get out of this mess when I start the day. St. Joseph. You know, I'm always asking for his guidance as I grow in faith and in my work and just in everything.
Yeah. Are there any others that are, so in my experience with saints, you'll suddenly have a saint kind of stalking you, is what I call it. They'll kind of start popping up in your life here and there. Have you experienced that yet?
I don't think I have. No, I mean, St.
You
Therese
might.
of Lisieux was popping up all over. She was in the church. Father John had a devotion to her. And then St. Bernard, my grandfather's were St. Bernard. But you know who I think is going to be big? And I'm going to mess up the saint's name,
Okay.
really. So I'm sorry about this. But I think it's St. Aloysius Gonzaga.
Okay. No, I think that was good.
Okay. That was just last Friday was the first time I ever did the readings at Mass. And that was his day. And he's kind of known for his purity and his penitence. And that's what I need so much help with. Being
Sure.
so late to the party. You know, my wedding garment is so soiled. I'm just trying to get it clean. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm looking for the saint to help me with purity.
It sounds like he is the one then. See, I'm telling you, they stalk you a little bit. So if he keeps popping up, just listen to that, whatever's going on there. Be like, okay, all right, what do you got for me?
Yeah.
I think it's good to stay open. So,
Awesome.
Yeah. Anything else about your story that you didn't get to tell that you want to tell us?
I just want to tell this amazing story really briefly about when I was on the drive from Oregon to South Dakota with my dad, because this is crazy. We were just on this long, long journey with the U-Haul and my F-150 with all the dirt bikes in the boat and everything. We're exhausted, and my dad's behind me. We're coming in on some highway. I don't remember what it is, but it goes into Zell. And sure enough, his boat cover on his boat starts flying off, and he's panicking. And we got walkie-talkies, and he's saying, Kev, we got to pull over. I said, well, it's not safe. Just hang on a minute. And he's really, really getting anxious. And I'm thinking, I got to find somewhere to pull over fast. This thing's going to blow. And all of a sudden, the first parking lot we come to, it's in Zell. It was like a place for the nuns. What is it, a convent?
Mm-hmm.
We pull into the parking lot, and there's the Virgin Mary holding a rosary, and it just says on the little plaque, pray the rosary. And I've been praying the rosary every day. And we pull in, and a sense of calm washes over everybody.
Oh, wow.
And we're here because I live right by Redfield. So that's right by Zell. And it's like the barometric pressure in the air is just released. And I love cats, and a little cat was running across the field in the distance. It was just so peaceful. And there she was.
Yep.
She was the safe harbor for us, literally,
yeah.
in that moment, saying, hey, you're home.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
You're going to have more of those stories as you go, I think.
Yeah, I hope so. I think so.
You might have to write them down, and then we can talk again, and you can tell us about them.
Yeah, Father John told me I got to start writing stuff down.
Yes, you do. You do. Kevin, thank you so much for coming in to tell us your story. I knew that 20 minutes was going to go fast, and it did. It always does. So, like I said, thank you for coming in. Thanks for driving all the way down here so you could be here in person. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet. All right. If you need to find out anything about the diocese, you can always find us at sfcatholic.org anytime. That's it for us today. Hope you'll join us again next week for more Catholic Views.